الرحمن الرحيم أبنائي طلبة وطالبات السات أهلا ومرحبا بكم. Hello everyone, welcome to Teach Me Sat. My name is Basim Khalid and we are doing fractions and decimals. In our lesson today we will learn how to apply arithmetic operations with fractions, arithmetic operations with decimals, and factorial functions. Alright, we will start with arithmetic operations with fractions. Fractions are usually considered confusing for some of our students, but it's important. It's an important lesson and you need to know these concepts, especially now that we have some problems in the SAT test that calculators will not be allowed. So you will have to work out all the calculations mentally. All right, you won't be able to use your calculator. So I will try to simplify these concepts as much as possible. It's not a difficult lesson at all. So let's start here by learning how to add two fractions with the same denominator. We have here 1/2 plus 1/2. These are two fractions. You can see that here down we have the same denominator. You can see that. So in this case, if you have the same number down, it's very simple. Just keep it, write it here, and add the numerators. So 1 plus 1 would be 2. 2 over 2 would be 1. You know that the numbers we have down are called the denominators, and the numbers we have up here, which is 1 and 1, are called numerators. All right, so it's very simple to add two fractions with the same denominator. Now we'll make it a bit harder, just a bit. Okay, we're gonna add two fractions with different denominators. All right, we have half and 1/3, so 1/2 plus 1/3. You can see that down here we have different numbers, we have different denominators. So in this case, what you need to do first is to find something called CD. CD stands for common denominator. This means we need to have a common number down here, not 2 and 3. We need something common between 2 and 3. How to do this is very simple. Just write the same fractions again. Okay, and then just pay attention here. Down here we're going to multiply by the other denominator. Here we have 3, the number down, so I'm going to use this 3, this one, I'm going to use it here. I'm going to multiply down and up. Okay, so I'm going to multiply both the numerator and denominator by the other denominator. All right, again we'll do the same thing for the other fraction. So down here we will use what? Yes, I think you guessed it right. I'm going to use the 2 here. So I'm going to multiply up and down by 2. All right, and then simplify it further. Down we have 6. And for the other fraction also, down we have 6. Up we have 3. And here we have 2. You can see now that we have the same denominator. You can add easily. Just write it, 6, and add what? As we did in the previous one. Just add the numerators. So it's 3 plus 2. That's 5 over 6. Right? But we move on to another example. I have 3 over 2 minus 1/2. Okay, we have 3 over 2 minus 1/2. Here you can see that we have the same denominator. So this one's supposed to be easy. We are subtracting. So I'm going to write it once. 2, and we do subtraction. We subtract the numerators. 3 minus 2, 3 minus 1 would be 2, and down we have 2. So 2 over 2 would be 1. So the answer here is 1. Right. Now for the next one here, we have 1 over 4 quarter plus 1/6. All right. Here we have a different denominator, so I think now you know how to do it. All right, you can pause the video by the way and you work it out, and then continue watching the video and check whether you got the same answer or not. All right. So here we will write the same fractions again, and we get what? Common denominator. Remember this one. And to be more specific, actually, you know, it's better to get what's called least common denominator. All right. But I don't want to go into details between the two of them. All right. What I need you to do now is to just know how to find this common. The simplest way would be multiplying up and down by the other denominator. So here we have 6. So I will multiply here up and down by 6. For the other one, I'm going to multiply by 4. All right. Erase this. So continue. So down here we have 24. And here also we have 24. Same denominator, you can see that. Up we have 6 by 1, that's 6. Here we have 1 by 4, that's 4. So since we have the same denominator, just keep it this way and add the numerators. Alright, that would be 10 over 24. Now for this fraction, let me tell you that it's not in the simplest form. You have to simplify it further. As I told you, if calculator is not allowed in this case, you have to do it mentally. It's very simple. Ask yourself, what two numbers, or what the number that these two numbers can be divided by? You can see 10 can be divided by what? By 2. It's divisible by 2. And 24 as well. Alright? 2 here, by the way, is called the factor. Okay? The greatest common factor, GCF. Alright? 2 is considered the GCF of what? The GCF of 10 and 24. You have the two numbers 10 and 24. If you write the factors of the two numbers, you will see that the greatest common factor between these two numbers is 2. So simply divide both of them by 2. So here I get 5, and here I get by 2, it's 12. And that would be the simplest form. It's always a good idea to write your fraction in the simplest form. Alright? So just getting an answer is not enough. You have to make sure that it's in the simplest form. We always do this when we deal with fractions. Alright? Alright. Now we move on to another point, which is how to multiply fractions. Okay? I think this would be easier than adding. Actually, it's very simple. So here we have 1/2 times 1/3. In multiplication, it's very simple. You just multiply the numerators, 1 times 1, right, the answer, and you multiply the denominators, 2 times 3, 6. And that's it. Very, very simple. Alright? Now, we're going to repeat the same thing for the other example here. I have 3 over 7 times 2 over 5. So I'm going to multiply 3 by 2, the numerators, that would be 6. 7 by 5, that's 35. Now remember to ask yourself, is this answer in the simplest form? Yes, because we don't have any common factor between 6 and 35. Right? So this is the final answer. Now for this example, you can see that we have a fraction, okay, 2 over 5 multiplied by a number. It's not a fraction here. This is a number, which is 4. How to do this? How to work it out? It's very simple. Just write the denominator 1. So divide it, just divide it by 1. So for a number, you can write down 1. Alright? So 4 over 1, it's 4. So basically we didn't change anything. Alright? Now that we have two fractions in this way, just multiply the numerators. So we have 8. Down we have 5 times 1, that's 5. So that's the final answer. 8 over 5. It's very simple, right? Alright. Right, we'll move on to another point. How to divide fractions. Alright, you see, division and multiplication are usually the same thing, alright? Just with a very, very small difference. Alright, I want you to learn this rule, alright, and remember it, have it straight in your head, alright? Memorize it if you can. It's very simple and very useful rule, actually, right? if we have a over b divided by another fraction c over d, you can see that it's fractions. So in this case, to work this one out, to simplify it, usually we don't deal with division. It's better to change it to multiplication. You see, I've changed this division to multiplication. Very simple. You do it this way. Just write. All right, let me write it again here for you. This is the rule. It says a over b divides c over d. What we usually do is this. We write the same fraction. We change the division to multiplication, and we flip. What does it mean, flip c over d? Flip, it means write the reciprocal of c over d. Reciprocal would be d over c. You can see that we have switched the c and d here. Okay, this is called the reciprocal. This one, the reciprocal, right? That's it. And then you work it out and simplify it the same way we did in the previous ones. All right. So let's have an example here, which is 2 over 5 divide 4 over 15. So again, you write the first fraction. If you have a division, change it to multiplication. Flip the numbers here. Okay, write the reciprocal. All right, so it's going to be 15 over 4, and then simplify in any way you like. Now, some students would say, all right, now we can multiply up the numerators that we have up by each other. So we multiply 2 by 15, and down we have 5 and 4, we multiply them. That's perfectly fine. Another way, something I want to teach you, would be this one. If we have multiplication, you have the right to cancel out the common factors from up and down. All right, in this way. Now here up you have 2. All right, down here we have 4. You know that 4 is also divisible by 2. So very simple. Now just divide these 2 by 2. All right, what do you get? You get 1. And down do the same thing. Divide 4 by the same number, which is 2. You get what? 2. You see now, instead of 2 up and 4 down, we have 1 and 2. This is more simple, right? Also for the 15 and 5, you know that 15 is divisible by 5. All right, so I'm going to divide 15 by 5. In your head, you can do it in your head, okay? So 15 by 5 is 3, and 5 by 5 is 1. Up you have 1 times 3, that's 3, and down you have 1 times 2, that's 2. All right? I know if this is the first time you do it this way, you might think it's a bit difficult, but it's not. Just need practice, and you will master it in no time. All right? But what if you want to do it in the conventional way? That would be, I'm going to do it here. I'm going to say another answer, right? Again, we're going to do it this way. All right? I'm going to show you how to do it using the conventional way, not by cancelling out. This is called the cancelling out way. All right, just simplify. Here we're going to repeat. We're going to flip the numbers here. Now I'm not going to cancel out the same way I did here. I'm just going to do the conventional, which is multiplying the numerators, you get 30. Multiplying the denominators, you get 20. Remember to simplify. Here actually you have 0 and 0. That's a good thing. You can just cancel it out like this. All right. You have to acquire all these skills. Okay. 3 over 2. That's the final answer. See, we got the same number. All right. For the next example here, we have 10 divide 2 over 3. Again, if I have a number, not a fraction, just divide this number by 1. Now you have a fraction, which is 10 over 1, divide 2 over 3. All right, apply the rule. So keep the 10 over 1, change the division to multiplication. All right, flip the numbers here, 3 over 2. Flip this one, write the reciprocal of this one. So up we have 30, down we have 2. That would be 50, the final answer. All right, we continue the next example. We have here radical 3, divide 3 over 2. Again, we don't have a fraction here, so you need to write 1 in the denominator. So I have now radical 3 over 1. Change the division to multiplication. Flip the second fraction, so it's going to be 2 over 3. write the reciprocal. Alright, just 2 over 3. Now you can multiply. 2 radical 3, you know that the 2 should be outside the radical. I don't multiply 2 and 3, that's wrong. Okay, just a note here. Alright, some students would do this. 3 times 2, they would say, okay, that's radical 6. No, that's wrong. Alright, 3 times 2, radical 3 times 2 is 2 radical 3. That's correct. Alright, so the answer is 2 radical 3. Down we have 1 times 3. That's it. You cannot simplify it further. Alright, you can't simplify anything further. Just keep it like this. Alright, we move on to the next point, which is arithmetic operations with decimals. Now, if I have a decimal number like this one, you can see 2.315, and then I have multiplied by 10, the same number multiplied by 100, same number multiplied by 1000, and so on. So the idea here is if you multiply by 10 to the power 1, this is 10 to the power 1, which is 1 0. Alright. In this case, when you multiply, you move the decimal point to the right. Right, to the right. You move this decimal point to the right. Alright, this way. Since we have here just 1 0, this is 1 0, right? So you're gonna move the decimal point 1 place to the right. So it will be 2, 3, and then the decimal point, and then 1, 5. Alright, if you multiply the same decimal number by 100, here we have 2 zeros, so I think you're gonna guess it correctly. You're gonna move the decimal point 2 places, 1, 2, because we have 2 zeros, you move it 2 places. So it will be 2, 3, 1, and then you write the decimal point, and then we have 5. The same for the 1000, we have 3 zeros, so I'm gonna move the decimal point 1, 2, 3. So it will be 2, 3, 1, 5, and since we don't have anything here, so either you write it this way, alright, or better you do what? Just erase it, and that's it. We don't have a decimal part here, alright. Now, for the division. In the division, you do the same thing, but you move to the left side. So you have 0, you are dividing 46.5, divide 10. You have 1 0, so you move the decimal point 1 place to the left. So it will be 4.65. That's it. Again, for the 100, you will move the decimal point 2 places to left. Alright, so here 1, 2. Since here we don't have number, you have to do what? You have to put the decimal point, and to the left of the decimal point you have to write 0. I think you all know how to do this. Now for the next one, you divide by 1000, so you're going to move 3 places. 1, 2, and there will be another place. So here I have to add a 0, right, to the left of the 4. Originally the decimal point was here, in this place between 6 and 5, so we move it 1, 2, 3, and write 0. So I have now 0.0465. This is how you deal with decimals. You multiply them by a multiplier of 10, 100, 1000, and so on. Right? Now, for the last point before we start solving the problems, okay, the problems, SAT problems. Now, we have a function called factorial function. If you have been introduced to this one before, it's great. If not, pay attention. It's very simple. Now, if you write any variable like n, for example, usually we use n, and we have exclamation mark. This one is pronounced n factorial. N factorial. This is how you say it, n factorial. All right. The rule says it's very simple. You just multiply all the numbers from this n to 1, all the integers between 1 and n. So the rule says it's going to be n times n minus 1 times n minus 2 down till you reach what? 1. For example, a very simple one. If I have 3 factorial, it means it's 3 times 2 times 1, which is 6. If I have 4 factorial, it means 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. That would be 6 times 4, 24. So basically, I'm multiplying all the integers from 1 to this n, to 4. From 1 to 4, you list all the numbers and you multiply. Alright, let's work this simple example out. We have factorial 5, so I'm going to have 5 times 4 going down to 3, then 2, then 1. Then we do the factorial 7. I have 7 times 6 times 5 times 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, a nice thing to do here is to cancel out the common numbers from up and down. You see here we have 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3, 4 and 4, 5 and 5. What's left here would be up. We don't have anything left, which means 1. In this case, you can't leave it blank, okay? You have to do what? You have to write 1. So down we have 7 times 6, and that would be 42. So the final answer is a fraction, which is 1 over 42. And that would be the end of our lesson today. For more about SAT problems on fractions and decimals, click on the shown link to watch part 2. My name is Basim Khalid, and you are watching Teach Me SAT. Thank you for viewing.